The Prime Minister has insisted that his Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, did not mislead the public before last week's budget by spelling out problems with the UK's projected productivity without mentioning that tax revenues could offset them. Cabinet members have reportedly accused him and Ms Reeves of misleading ministers, with one reportedly describing the handling of the budget as a disaster from start to finish. Rachel Reeves has defended her position, saying full details contained in a budget are never provided in advance. Our political correspondent Helen Catt reports.
The run-up to Rachel Reeves' second budget was extraordinary. The fallout is equally unusual, with questions about her personal honesty. What's being claimed is that she misled people by painting a worse picture of the economy to justify tax rises than she knew to be the case. We now know that on October the 31st, the Office for Budget Responsibility told Rachel Reeves that she still had a surplus of £4.2 billion, even though the economy was less efficient than it had thought. But 4 days later, the Chancellor called an extraordinary early morning press conference in which she said this.
A less productive economy is one that produces less output per hour worked. That has consequences for working people, for their jobs, and for their wages. And it has consequences for the public finances too, in lower tax receipts.
And she reinforced that gloomy picture on the 10th of November when she told the BBC's Matt Chorley it would only be possible to stick to manifesto commitments not to raise tax if there were deep cuts to capital spending. On a visit to Wales this morning, the Chancellor rejected claims she'd lied.
The OBR forecast, the numbers that they've put out last week, with agreement of the Treasury, shows that the £9.9 billion surplus against the headroom in the budget in the spring had reduced to £4.2 billion. Now, £9 billion wasn't very much headroom. £4.2 billion would have been the lowest headroom any Chancellor had ever delivered at a budget.
So what Rachel Reeves is arguing is that £4 billion wasn't enough rainy day money, if you like, and that she had to increase it so that the financial markets could have confidence that her sums really did add up. But those who say she misled say that the words she used in the run-up to the budget implied a situation that was far worse, that there wasn't any surplus or leftover money at all. Giving a speech in London, the Prime Minister said there had been no misleading and they really had thought they might need to put up income tax.
We had on the one hand £16 billion less than we might otherwise have had. We had clear commitments that we'd made throughout the process as to what it was we were going to achieve. Therefore, against that backdrop, it was inevitable that we would always have to raise revenue.